The talking stage has one job, and that's to help you figure out whether this relationship has a future. But somewhere along the way, this became the stage where people get hurt the most. Welcome back to Raw of a Romance. I'm your host, O. And here, we always keep it real about dating. Last episode, we talked about situationships. And one question seemed to come to mind. And that's, what are we? But before we even start asking that question, I believe there's a stage that's worth its own conversation. That's the talking stage. To me, two people just getting to know each other. No commitment, no labels. Just trying to figure out if the person in front of them can fit into the future you're trying to build. And honestly, I think that's exactly what the talking stage is supposed to be. I don't believe in rushing into relationships. Sure, looks might grab your attention, but it's personality that's what's going to make you stay. And I've been on both sides of the coin. I've dated women who were gorgeous, but their personality just wasn't it. And I've also dated women who weren't exactly my type physically, but their personality made me stop and think. Maybe I need to look a little deeper. For me, I usually know within the first month whether I could actually see something serious. It's not because I'm rushing. It's because I'm paying attention. How you communicate with others, how you treat other people, how you handle disagreements, how you handle any situation, how you move, whether our goals line up. Because getting into a relationship isn't the goal. Just getting into the right relationship, that's it. That's what the goal is. And that's why I think that the talking stage is necessary. You need time to observe, to learn, to ask questions, to see whether you both are heading in the same direction. Because if you skip that stage, you might end up in a relationship with someone who was never meant to be there in the first place. So, no, I don't think the talking stage is a problem. I think people forget it has a purpose. And every purpose has its ending. The talking stage is supposed to lead somewhere. Either you become a couple, or you realize you're better off going your separate ways. What it's not supposed to become is somewhere you stay forever. Because that's when people start getting hurt. And another thing, people, they create rules. Like what? They're never actually discussed either. You feel me? Some people believe if we're talking, we should only be talking to one another. Other people believe until we make it official, we're both single. Who's right? Honestly, it depends. If you're intentionally stringing somebody along, knowing you have no intention of making it official, then no, I don't think you should keep entertaining them. But if both of you are genuinely getting to know each other and nobody has made a commitment, you don't owe each other exclusivity at all. But what you do owe each other is honesty. Because here's what usually happens: one person thinks we're building towards something, the other person thinks we're still just getting to know each other. Neither person has had the conversation. Both people created expectations. And when these expectations crash, somebody's going to get hurt. You know? And it's not the talking stage that hurts people. It's unspoken expectations that do. Now, here's where I've been on both sides. You feel me? I've been on the side trying to ignore the red flags because I thought maybe I'll get better. Maybe I'm overthinking. Maybe it just needs a little bit more time. And I've also been on the other side where I made it clear we're just talking, nothing official. But they just kept investing emotionally. Eventually, when I realized it wasn't going anywhere, it became a friendship. Maybe even friends with benefits. But to them, it still felt like a relationship was coming. You know? And that's when I realized something. Two people can be in the exact same talking stage and be imagining two completely different futures. If one of my boys came up to me and said, "Bro, me and Shorty been talking for 5 months," the first thing I'd say is, I hope you're not investing in them and only them. You feel me? You know, keep living your life. You know, keep growing. Don't put your whole future on pause waiting for somebody else's decision. But then I ask, did y'all ever have that conversation? Because if you never ask, you're assuming. The talking stage isn't the enemy. It's actually one of the most important stages of dating. It protects you from rushing into something that just isn't right. But don't confuse being patient with standing still. Because time is something you'll never get back. Sometimes the hardest part isn't letting go. It's letting go someone you imagine your future with. And that's Raw Over Romance. I'm your host, O. And here, we always gonna keep it real about dating. And if you feeling this, you already know what to do, you heard? And shit.
I've been keeping it raw over romance. Real conversation over slow dance. Ain't with the fake, I don't hold hands. If it ain't authentic, I don't do the scams. You gonna front, I don't play them games. I've seen true love turn into flames. Just keeping it real, I don't need the fame. Raw over romance, it's not a game.